of the planning division. And they were there also. But before we allow Janelle and Gary to share, I'm going to present an interview I did this morning with one of the many protesters, a Kalinago chief, to start off the conversation here. A Kalinago chief who basically told me that she will keep standing for day one.
What? Oh.
Yes. Hello. Hey, how you doing, Annie? That's okay. I just want to do a quick talk before I move. You were here standing outside the planning division. Why are you here?
Matt, I'm here today to stand up for my people, the Kalinago people. Many of our people are against what's happening at Debonche. It's an illegal activity and it has to stop. The river, as you know, supplies our community. It has been sustaining our people for generations. And right now, with all that has been happening, we know that there's a lot of chemicals being released into the water that is poisonous to the people. And I can assure you that if this continues, many of the people are going to suffer and some of them may even die. So I stand here today because I have a responsibility as a leader to protect.
Somebody's calling there. Let's see if we can get back to that too. Of course, our Kalinago chief in a minute. Yes, okay, let's do this and come back. We're going to come back. Just stick around. All right, let's get back to Annette Sanford, of course, standing at the protest this morning.
The people that I represent. I am not just going to sit and allow all that destruction and all that, forest to be removed from where it is right now and contamination of the river and then eventually to kill the Kalinago people. So we're here today and I will continue to stand for the Kalinago people and the Kalinago territory until this illegal activity stops.
So you want it to stop?
We want it to stop, of course, because if it continues, it's going to adversely impact and negatively impact our community. And like we stated initially from the Kalinago Council point of view, we wanted them to stop in October. We released our statement. All our meetings that we've had, one with the minister responsible for environment, we did tell him our stance on the whole matter. And also with the last meeting we had with the Prime Minister, we did mention to him where we stand. So they are aware of our position on this, and we just want them to respect it and to honor our views as indigenous population in Dominica and to realize that we have a vital role to play in the development of Dominica as well, in the preservation of our forests, in the preservation of our rivers and our environment. And we have been doing that for decades. So we will continue to do that.
It's clearly a disrespect that you say.
Clearly, of course, because firstly, we were never consulted. We were never called to a meeting to have any conversation with any ministry, with any government official. And as you know, free, prior, and informed consent is outlined in the United Nations Declarations on the Rights of Indigenous People, where any activity happening that will affect our resources, there would have to be some form of engagement. And there has never been any engagement with our community. And to make things worse, many of our people has been negatively affected. And because of that, I believe there should have been some form of consultation with the community, but there has never been. And additionally, we are seeing that in the ESIA, that the Kalinago Council is listed as an organization that was consulted with, which
And you were never consulted?
We were never consulted on that. And this is wrong. It's wrong, like I said, and this can have a lot of legal weight if we have to take it to the courts. So one, I believe the officials responsible for writing the ESIA should apologize to the Kalinago people for, I would say, using this false information and trying to, have people be misled into believing that they met with us.
All right. But it seems that the Prime Minister he's insisting that this continues. Why?
I have no idea why he is insisting that it continues. I believe he's disconnected to the people of Dominica. And when a leader is disconnected to the people, they do not hear the people's voices. And that is what is happening. And like I said, I feel that the indigenous people have been neglected for a very long time. Oftentimes even if we are consulted sometimes and we give, advice and guidance, the agenda from the leadership still push whatever they want to do. So it's like we are not heard. We are not being heard at all as an indigenous population. And there's very little value placed on our community and what we want as a community. So I'm really calling out to the leadership to stop the activity. And I'm hoping that the planning division will do what is right, because they know that it has been an illegal activity. First, they never gave any permission at all to do this activity there. Then they had a stop order, which was not respected at all. And here we are, we're still trying to debate and come up with ESIs that never existed, with a lot of false information trying to mislead the public. So it's just wrong from the onset, and it has to stop.
And of course, you're going to stand with your position.
I'm going to stand, and this has to stop, and it must stop.
Thank you. Thank you. A bold Kalinago shift. Dominica interviewed a few more people. Maybe you'll hear your voice as we move along. But both Janelle and Gary were at the silent process outside of the planning division where the board met. And they're here with us to give us their own impressions and a lot more. So let's say good afternoon to you, Miss Brisbane. You can use the microphone, yes.
Good afternoon, Matt, and good afternoon to your listeners. Thank you for consistently allowing us to be on your program to disseminate the information to the public.
Well, I'm hoping that the other radio stations can do the same.
Well, I hope so too. I mean, there's supposed to be a voice for the people, so if it's not a call to allow us to have our voice heard on their platforms as well.
Have you tried?
We have definitely tried.
Yes.
We've consistently tried.
And so what's the response?
No response.
No response.
They've never responded to us, so we'll see.
I wonder why. So Gary, good afternoon to you again.
Good afternoon, man.
Good afternoon.
Again.
All right. Bring the microphone a little closer to you. Yes.
Okay. Good afternoon, Matt, and to listeners everywhere, globally, internationally. Thank you for having us for, I believe, the 4th or 5th time here.
Mm-hmm.
We'll keep coming back.
Once you're educated, we will welcome you.
As long as the door is open, we'll keep coming back. And as you said about the other radio stations, we did send a letter to the other media houses saying that we do want equal press
engagement
from them as well. If we're covering this on Matt, we also want to cover it on the other radio stations like DBS and Kyrie FM. We are very open to doing it.
Any other radio station,
of course.
I'm sure. But give me your impression of this morning's exercise. What was the objective?
So this morning we were told that the Physical Planning Authority has already started meeting to deliberate on the Daywash situation, Stonefield, whichever name they prefer to go with. And I mean, I know from our team alone, we submitted 41 pages of comments.
41.
41. How many was the number? Over 100. We submitted, oh God.
Let me check.
131
52
comments across 132 comments across 41 pages. So, yeah. I mean, for them to be able to meet so fast without even properly reading through, and we know this is just one document of over 20 plus individual documents that were turned in with comments.
Mhm.
So for them to meet so quickly without first being able to take the necessary time to read and understand the comments and come to a meeting prepared to then discuss is quite alarming to us. It's quite it's very interesting, and I really hope that they do not start setting a precedent that would then ensue a lot of chaos in Dominica. Because if you were to suddenly approve this with all of the errors, with all of the community outcry, how do you, as physical planning, then have the power to stop anything?
That's very interesting.
Yeah, and Matt, these 132 comments that we submitted it yesterday to Physical Planning Division. And
Yesterday, is it?
yes,
Oh,
yesterday.
yesterday.
So we
Okay.
submitted it. They did reply us with a received, so we know it's in their hands. But this took us 2 weeks to write up, and if we had more time, I'm sure we would have more comments. Because even coming here today, we're like, oh shoot, we forgot to mention this. It's because there was so much information to fit in such a short time, and then to lay it out properly. It took a while, a lot of sleepless nights and coffee breaks. But yeah, we got as much as we could within that time frame.
Mhm.
And yeah, I'm hoping that they would read all our comments and address each and every one of them.
Share with us. I mean, I know you said 132 pages, so there's a lot of comments. But more in a nutshell, share with us some of the one that you discovered, during this.
Okay, well, I'll do one with Gary.
Yeah.
One of the most alarming things to me is that the Stonefield document, the Daybosh document, is not even about Daybosh. So in the ESIAs, it's more pronounced in the first ESIA, the one in June, but you see it throughout. The information inside this ESIA is not about Daybosh. They took
It's not?
No.
they took the climate data, the hydraulic and so on from Wesley, and it's written Wesley in the document, Wesley Asphalt Batching Plant, ESIA project number, whatever. So they even kept all the information. And then from page like 134 onwards, like towards the end, all the stakeholder analysis information, the biodiversity
Anseme.
information, it's all from Anseme, the cement batching plant project that they did over in Anseme. And then you come to the noise, all the baseline data on noise and air quality. When you plot the information in the tables, it all comes to Crapo Hall. So everything they've done, the fauna and flora surveys are not about Daybosh. The community stakeholder consultation information that they reported is labeled Anseme. The climate data is labeled Wesley as well. Some of the biodiversity data is Wesley. The air quality data, the vibration and noise data is all from Crapo Hall.
Yeah.
So what are you doing here? To me, that was one of the most disgraceful, disrespectful things that was unveiled.
So they're basically telling a lie.
They're telling a lie.
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
presenting
lots.
false information under the disguise of Stonefield and Daybosh. And they're throwing it in our face as if they think we are stupid, that we are going to look at this and say this is good enough. Nah.
Gary, you?
Whoa. Okay. Thank you, Jill. There's a lot. Yeah, well,
There's a lot, so we just explain a few areas.
it's a lot in there. One of the last ones we actually found out was that there's a noise detection area. So they would test how loud the noises are from the area that they're quarrying. And so there's 7 points right on it, and each of them have a coordinate on it, so a GPS coordinate. And I was like, okay, let me just plot it to see how far they tested it. And this is for Stonefield. It's listed on the Stonefield. And then when you actually plot it, all the areas are for Crapo Hall. And then I was like, okay. Let me plot it again. All the areas are still for Crapo Hall when I plotted the second time. And so we have the ESIA for Crapo Hall. So I decided, let's look into this, find the section with the noise section. And when you look at the table, it's the exact table, the exact same points, the exact same data on the table. The only thing is you move the table, put it into Stonefield, and you change the title of the table.
That's deceptive.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So why are they the rush to produce this? And what they're saying is not true?
Well, I think it took them I guess when we first initially asked them for it in last year, November, and they were not giving it to us, I guess it took them those few months to draft those ESIAs and to try to make it look complete.
Mhm.
And it seems obviously that they did not have that information. As Janelle was also saying about the biodiversity that we saw in it, they did one survey for 1 week, and they did it in the wet season. And some of the animals listed on that they observed would not be found in Daywash, let alone during a wet season. So some of these animals, you'll find them in a drier coastal area, such as Wesley.
Mhm.
You wouldn't find it in a place that has so much precipitation like Daywash, but yet they're listed in the Stonefield ESIA.
You know, one of the things I discovered when I spoke to Mr. Capitole last week, he was very insistent that the rocks at Daywash is of a better quality than that of Crapo Hall. And he said, you know, he had the scientific proof to show that. But I told him, so why can't you compare your notes with you guys? And then, you know, we can come to a solution. What's your response to that?
Well, from reading those ESIAs, we read over 800 something pages, and we didn't stay too long on Crapo Hall just because of the time. Sure, if we had more time, we'd delve more into Crapo Hall. But from what we've read from it, there is no aggregate study in the ESIA to give proof that this area has the best quality rocks, or these are the quality rocks that we need. It doesn't go in depth into any of that information. So we do believe there should be
So if they have the information that you are requesting,
yes,
why don't they share it with you or share with your team?
But not just share with us, Matt. If they had the information to prove that the rocks at Daywash were the best, scientific proof, why are you not putting this scientific proof in your scientific report? Because none of the ESIAs had any sort of inclination, any sort of evidence pointing towards them doing a study on the rocks at Daywash. They never even stated inside those 3 SIAs, they had 3 chances to get it right. They never once stated what exactly they were going for in Daywash, what type of rock they were going for. Never once.
So where did Mr. Capitole got that information?
I don't know, but if it's there, I mean, the last ESIA they submitted was in February. So if the science is there, the best place to put that is in the ESIA, which would have proved a lot to us.
Yeah.
We would have then been like, oh, okay, well, they know what they're doing. But if you have the science and you're not putting it in the one scientific report that requires it, what does that say?
Says a lot.
Yeah, and I think it'll be very easy to just, I would say, shut us up and
Expose
if
you guys.
If you have that information, just let the public get access to it. Let us read it. Let us compare notes. It'd be so easy to do that. So why not release it to the public if there is so much, like we're doing so much outreach right now and trying to get information out there, trying to educate the public. I believe it's a disservice that they're doing. They withhold the information.
I was making the point. Did you guys ever had an opportunity to share notes with the other side?
Share notes with the who?
With the other side, I mean, in their side, government side.
Well, I mean, they have never invited us to, but we have always hand-delivered all of our scientific evidence and reports to them. I mean, our comments are in the physical plan, and the geotechnical report was submitted to the head of the planning authority, to physical planning. We've written up our concerns directly to the Minister of Environment. We even sent copies in physically, like in person, to the Chinese embassy. So we've given them all of our information, and it is out there on a public sharing folder. So at any point in time, they can see what we're up to at all times.
So why are they reluctant to share their information with you?
I don't know, but if it was so truthful, if their evidence was so damning, just release it to the public. Let everybody see that you know what you're doing.
Let's. We want to be very interactive there, and of course, both Janelle and Gary is here with us this afternoon. They're sharing more information. Are you there, caller?
Yes, Matt, I am right here. Matt, good afternoon to you and your listeners.
Good afternoon to you.
I would like to say, that all isn't lost in Dominica. And there is still hope for Dominica and Dominicans. And why am I saying that, Matt, is I'm listening to these two young people, and I've listened to them over the past few weeks. And their level of professionalism, presentation of information, their ability to dissect the information, to interpret the information, and to present their findings to the people of Dominica is remarkable. So I'd say hats off to Ms. Brisbane and hats off to her colleague. And Matt, I am saying so because there are so many learned, trained, professional Dominicans who, unlike these two people, have decided to step up to the game and profess their ability to help Dominica move forward based on their level of education. Because, Matt, we know we have hundreds and literally thousands of Dominicans who are university trained, but who have either been compromised, who are too afraid or living in fear, or choose instead, Matt, to sell their credentials and their souls to a government that clearly is bringing Dominica down the drain. So I want to say hats off to them, and especially their presentation this afternoon is very insightful. And Matt, you yourself have identified that there has been a lot of deception to the Dominican people on this whole project, which means, therefore, that as a people, we have not been able to come up with adequate, reasonable positions on the situation at Debwash as it is today. And it means, therefore, that a lot of people who are supporting the degradation of Debwash seem to have been misinformed, because we've heard people like Clarence Thomas, we've heard people like Capitoline, and we've heard all the ambassadors, so to speak, who want to come forward and present a view to the Dominican public that is false and that is misleading. But Matt, listening to all of this, allow me to also say further that no doubt, as a means of an overarching statement, that Dominica does need an international airport. We have been pursuing these things for 50 to 60 years. And what I find is very unfortunate in all of this is the fact that now we seem to be on the cusp, on the verge of getting an international airport for the first time. There is so much controversy surrounding the construction of that airport. And that, to my mind, is the most disappointing thing, because we need an international airport. We need to progress as the rest of the other islands in the Caribbean and have an international airport so our people can benefit economically, so that we can have better trade, we can have easier access to the international world, etc. And Matt, quite frankly, I find the current government of Dominica is lacking in their approach to the construction of this international airport. We should never have come to this stage where government has so arrogantly and aggressively pursued a major development project with so much controversy. Yes, there may be controversy. Yes, there is a need for perhaps damage of the environment, as some people have said. But I think we have reached a stage in Dominica where it is very sad that one of our major achievements is being achieved in such a divided way. Matt, at this moment, after all what has been said, you know what I want to say? I would like to ask the government of Dominica and the Honorable Prime Minister and the Cabinet of Dominica to sit down and have consultation, to sit down and have open dialogue, to sit down and have an exchange with all the people who have concerns, who have raised objections, who have presented facts and findings about the international airport, and to see if for once we cannot collectively and harmoniously approach a project that is so deserving and needed to Dominicans. They need to put aside their 20 years of arrogance and high-handedness and exclusivity and brandedness and decide, okay, once and for all, let us humble ourselves and let us dialogue with all parties involved so that we can realize this long-awaited goal of an international airport. It is not too late. And so I think in spite of perhaps of all the errors that have been made, in spite of all the misjudgments that have been made, in spite of all the high-handedness that has been pursued, I think I would like to make a solid and sober recommendation to the government of Dominica to step back. Because all the people who have been speaking over the years, including the former planning officer, Miss Edwards, and now listening to these two people, particularly today, and the information they are giving, step back a little, step down, meet, discuss, and perhaps admit that maybe we have had a wrong approach. Maybe we have had a wrong identification of where we can get these things. Maybe, and let us see how we can proceed to complete the international airport. If it is so important, and I think for the sake, we should not have the launching or the construction of such a major project as the international airport with acrimony, with division, with sour grapes, and all of this. Dominica does not need that. Every single citizen living in the state of Dominica today can agree we need an international airport, but the government is pursuing this the wrong way. The government is proceeding in a negative way. And whether or not they think that they have the right, the privilege, or the autonomy to do what they want, I think my humble advice to them is to step back. Listen to these people, dialogue, sit down, and discuss. Look at alternatives and say, okay, we made a mistake at Debwash. If at all they have made a mistake at Debwash, let us explore other alternatives so that we may proceed. We cannot continue for the next 2, 3, 4 months into a year with that level of rancor and that level of demonstration, all this level of things that are happening because of the international airport. It is not warranted. It is not deserving. We do not need this as a people, where we as a people who have such a need for an international airport, for the reduction perhaps of and the improvement of the lives of many Dominicans, for us to be at the stage where we are today. So I call on the cabinet of Dominica. I call on the Prime Minister. I call on the people who are involved in the construction of the airport. Please, now is the time for dialogue and détente. Now is the time to sit down. Now is the time to say, okay, fine. We have embarked on a wrong approach. We were perhaps misinformed. We have been perhaps misguided. Let us listen to each other, because Matt, listening to these two young people today reveals a lot about the mistakes that have been made. And you have asked some important questions today. Has this information been presented to the people? Have they been able to look at, and these young people today scientifically, professionally are presenting facts and data and figures and information which will inform any sensible, reasonable person of what needs to be done. And so it is very sad. You cannot want to build an international airport so much to the credit of your party and your government that you choose not to listen to anybody, and perhaps at the detriment of Dominica. And I think it is time that when the government uses that approach, both sides of Dominicans, the supporters of the Dominica Labour Party government, people who do not support this government, and the people who are sitting in between can have a very balanced view of what is happening so that Dominica can move forward. We keep fighting as a people in sports, in politics, in religion, in everything. We keep fighting as a people. But in this tangible project of an international airport, we are finding that the government seems to be doing what they want, that they have perhaps decided to pursue and embark upon a project which is needed, which we all need, which we agree Dominican needs and we should have. But by all accounts and listening to everything and reading everything, they seem to be going about it the wrong way. I saw yesterday they tried to put up some propaganda about other projects of whatever to justify that. But this is not the way. People make mistakes. There is, how you call it, the mistakes in judgment. You know, there's sometimes anxiety to do things. Yes, you think that you're going on the right way, but sometimes you have to step back and say, okay, in spite of that, are we doing the right thing? And perhaps now is the time for us to sit down, listen, because, Matt, these two brilliant minds you have on the radio with you today, I highly commend them. And I commend them vis-a-vis the fact that we have many professionals today, medical professionals, technical professionals, engineering professionals, legal professionals, whose mouths are shut and their lips are zipped. And the way these young people are presenting on the radio, they are not bashing the government. They are not saying anything which is divisive or wrong or political. They are simply presenting scientific facts of data and relevant information for sound and reasonable judgment and understanding. And that is what we have to look at. Every professional in Dominica deserves to do that. Many are not doing it. These two young people, hats up to them. They are doing it.
All right, Simeon, thank you. Recommendation, guys, from social scientist, Mr. Simeon Joseph. And let me just ask a question, preamble there. Are you against the international airport? Because
No, we're not against it.
Because I've heard from many from their side that you guys are anti-airport.
Matt, I just want to remind people that for at least the first month of the Save the Bosch campaign, we didn't even know this was related to the international airport. Whilst we were like
in the streams, walking around the river trying to figure out what's going on, we had no idea this project was for the airport.
Had zero clue. And then when they told us that this is for the airport, we said, well, prove it, release the documents linking this to the airport, and then we will come to our own conclusions. But we had no idea this related to the airport, and we were going ahead with our Save the Bosch campaign because our focus at the end of the day is the law and protecting our people, protecting our waterways, and protecting our forests.
All right, I think we have more phone calls at this time. Hello, talk to me. Again, we want to make this very interactive. Hello, ask the questions you need to ask. Yes.
Yes, my good afternoon to you and your guests. I want to commend them highly. I think what they are doing, what they have done already, is highly commendable. In fact, when you listen to them, they know what they are about, they know what they're involved in, and they know what they are saying. And it is heartwarming that these people are not on any, say, for example, the public service payroll to get a salary, and they're doing all of this writing, all of this documentation and presenting to the planning division. And, these institutions of government were set up to ensure that the restriction of abuse by the authority or by the government would not take place. And the laws are there to guide that. And what we have seen in recent time is people have to give up their hands and allow the abuse to take place. They don't know what they're protecting, what they're afraid of, and so on, because if they're doing the right thing, obviously society will be with them. I want to also commend Annette Stanford, I heard a while ago, and I think as the Canada chief, she has a responsibility to guide and to talk on matters that are affecting her community and her people. Now, if the government is a wise government, a modern government, a civilized government, a government that can engage bright people, you get the impression that the government is afraid of bright people. So if you're bright, they don't want you around because you will show them off. Because I believe in a matter like this, any government would call the people and say, come, let's meet, let's discuss, let's look at the nitty-gritty of the stuff. We put your point forward, we put ours, and we can convince you as to what we're doing and why we're doing it. But instead of doing that, I heard the Prime Minister in a press conference he had. I'm trying to belittle the people, because they feel when they belittle you, they feel good. They will go to heaven by belittling you. And as a citizen, you have a right, if things are going right, to say that. Because when you correct it, it's for the country, the whole citizenry you correct it for the whole country, not for a party. And I think this nonsense that this Labour Right and Labour Party are engaged in, once you raise a view that you are not a patriot, you are anti this and anti that is nonsense. And try to divide the people of Dominica. In fact, the airport should be uniting us if we're doing the right thing. But and for me, for the discussion, I heard you ask the Prime Minister a question as to the cost of the airport. And in his own response to you, you could see there's a data there. Somebody probably around there that told him they spent about $70 million already. And he's saying the government make this money available for mobilization and so on. At the same time, he said there is a development development airport. So there's real confusion. But I want to commend the people for the work that they're doing. And I want to say to Dominicans, let us not do this thing on a party level. Let us do this thing as a Dominican level. At the end of the day, Matt, we have an airport. It was done well. People were consulted and so on. I know there was a plan to build an airport and in Thomas. And there was discussion with people all across. You had people in the community, you had people who had business, you had people who were interested in investing in the area. we're consulted in Dominica. We seem to do our thing. We go, we take land, we pay who want to pay, and to pay the others and so on. So, Mark, let us do this thing as citizens, as Dominicans for Dominica. At the end of the day, all Dominicans will benefit. So this rubbish about we against the airport is just rubbish. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You're going through the points, various points you presented to already. Are we gonna go say 1, 2? You're gonna start the process there, or continue the process? Tell us about the points that you found out.
Okay. Before I get into it, we have a page called Save the Wash on Facebook.
Okay.
And if you go on that page, we have links to our drive, our Proton Drive, which has all the information we've given so far to the public. And in that, we have our documents, this 41-page document.
41 page, yeah?
Yeah. So if you guys want to read along with us, you guys could as well. It's free for anybody to download and look at. We've already.
You have nothing to hide.
No. If anything, we want more people to read it and be like, oh, shoot, this is going on. I should read more of the ESIA. And to me, I feel like, I don't know if Janelle feels it also, but I feel like this document is not even complete. Like, we could still read more into it and put more information that we missed out. It's just that we didn't have enough time. What I wanted to, the next point that we found in the ESI is that they have produced maps of the size of the crusher plant or where they want to excavate. And in the boundary line, they have what they call like a fence area for it. But it still goes within the Northern Forest Reserve, even on their own maps that they produced. And they're saying, even in their own document, that that they do not encroach in the Northern Forest Reserve or either the Central Forest Reserve, which is contradictory because their own maps prove that they do enter the Northern Forest Reserve.
And the forestry people don't see that? People protecting our forests have not seen a copy of that?
Well, forestry is not part of the physical planning authority.
I thought they wanted all the officials to be part of this exercise, from what I heard.
They're not on the board, and that's a problem in and of itself. So forestry does not sit on the physical planning board.
I hope forestry left some comments. I hope they were able to read the ESI as well.
Were you able to talk to the board? You were out there in the Montrose area outside standing. Were you able to engage the board at all?
No. We didn't get a chance to meet the board. Well, I came a little after Janelle and them. I'm not sure if they met them before, but I wasn't.
No exchange at all?
No. It seems like they were there right on time. they were actually there early. I guess. I'm not sure, but they seem to have been there from bright and early in the morning. And so we didn't get to see any of them enter the office.
No, at all.
No.
Interesting.
No.
Let's continue, of course, join to the points that you said at 41. Let's continue. Your turn this time?
Okay.
Well, I could. No, it's okay.
Okay. But yeah, to add what Gary was saying too, before we move on to the next point, they state that the area of influence for any terrestrial habitat is 200 meters from their boundaries. So already their project is inside the Northern Forest Reserve, but let's say it was truly bordering, 200 meters would take them inside the Northern Forest Reserve, and they have absolutely no information inside any of their ESIAs about the effects on the Northern Forest Reserve or how they're going to mitigate, what buffer zone they're going to put for the Northern Forest Reserve, nothing like that. They completely leave out the fact, even though their own maps show them inside the Northern Forest Reserve, some of their maps even show the boundary of the Northern Forest Reserve, and they still refuse to admit it. But another point that we want to bring up that is extremely surprising, and is very strange as to why no official is raising the alarm for this, is the water quality test. So they claim to have tested the water in the Pegua River, and the test they did in November, both June, but also November. So the ones in November were the most alarming and the most complete too. These tests, bear in mind that they're testing the water after excavation had already started, after the river was brown for like 2 months already. Their tests are showing high levels of arsenic, high levels of mercury, and such high levels of bacteria that it has failed all across the board.
The World Health Organization test, it has failed it.
Every single one of their samples failed the World Health Organization test.
Really?
Yes, because of the high levels of fecal bacteria, coliform, E. coli, on top of the mercury and arsenic that they found in the water. So our thing is, if this information is inside this ESIA, if these tests are true to what is happening to our river, where on earth is environmental health? Where on earth is the Ministry of Health and Ministry of Environment and Canada Affairs and everyone? Because that's a national health emergency that is unfolding before our very eyes. People use this river. People bathe from
Some
this
people
river.
drink the river.
Yeah.
Water.
Exactly. And you're talking about a place that has no agricultural lands above that river, right? If anything, it's maybe a small patch somewhere in the middle of the forest that we don't know about. But there's no one living above the Pegua River, above Daywash. There's no agricultural lands there because it's all Central and Northern Forest Reserve.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And you're testing the water at the quarry site and after the quarry site, and you're coming up with these results. What on earth is happening? And
Yeah.
why is no one talking to the community who is directly downstream, telling them what they are uncovering in that river and making sure our people are safe?
That's dangerous.
It's
Yeah,
very
and
dangerous.
these tests were, I just want to make sure the date of it. These tests were done in November 2025. So the stop water wasn't even in place yet. So that's when they took those water samples, they had workers on the ground from CR5 working and excavating in the bush. This was done in November, and no one has raised any alarms on this at all. And so people were using the river still at the time, because I believe in November, that's when they started basically not shoving all the dirt directly in the river, but have it scheduled to dump at certain times. So the river appears a bit cleaner lower down the river, and that introduced people back into the water. But now that we know that this water had E. coli bacteria, and in its own words, it says fecal enterococci as too numerous to count.
Mhm.
But yeah, I shouldn't be laughing.
So I want to say, Mr. Peltier, greetings and good afternoon to you. Let me start by extending thanks and gratitude to these two young individuals who are taking the lead and signing up for Dominica. For much too long, we have chastised our young people for not taking interest in the governments of this country. The future of Dominica is bright with people such as these two young individuals taking charge and asking for transparency. That's what they're about. Thank you, Gary. Thank you, Janelle. So, of course, the messages are coming in there.
Mhm.
Fast and furious. Let's see if we can take a few more phone calls. The numbers are 449-3095, 449-3096, 449-3097, 616-4257, 305. It was his line, 432-9624. The lines are open for your calls. We can, of course, interrupt Gary and Janelle at any time to take your phone calls. Let's continue, of course, making the points that you've been making for the past 30
Yeah.
minutes. Yes, go ahead.
But on the water point again, we need to emphasize to Dominicans that just because the river is looking cleaner now, just because the water looks clear, does not mean that the water is indeed clean. Because that arsenic and that mercury, a lot of the heavy metals that are going to run off into our water, if they quarry or mine this area, whichever one they decide to do, if it's mineral mining or if it's quarry mining, they are going to release heavy metals into that water that have been stored in the rocks for a long time. It's something called acid drainage, which they also did not have any test about. So they even consider any of that. But anyways, these heavy metals, things like sulfuric acid, they're colorless. Some of these things are odorless, colorless. So just because the river will look or appear crystal clear does not mean that the mercury and arsenic are not there. Mercury and arsenic will stay in the system for a long time, and they will become our silent killers.
Another point that was made by the other side is that the reason that they will not use the rocks in Collie Hole on the West Coast is because that would make it an expensive exercise. So millions more will be spent. Your take on that, Gary?
No, I was gonna sorry, I was sort of reading like how
I could go ahead while you're reading.
Yes, expense is the issue for them.
But they didn't even consider the full cost. So again, reading through the ESIAs, all they're saying is it would be an expensive exercise because Daywash is closer, which means it's less distance to drive. That's all they've said. But they have not factored in the cost of actually setting up a new quarry or the truckloads that they would have to include to take the topsoil, because actually one of the civil engineers somewhere here told us that so much based on their own calculations in the ESIA, the numbers that they put out, not calculations, just numbers, because they didn't calculate anything. The amount of topsoil of overburden that they're expecting from this site based on their own numbers requires 40 acres of land to dump that soil on. That's thousands. I think he estimated over 11,000. Oh no, require approximately 78,000 truck trips.
78.
Yes. So a lot, because they're just saying, oh, it's closer, so it's a shorter distance. But what about carrying all of the soil out, and then they claim that they're going to put all of the soil back in on top of having to carry all the rocks? What about the cost to the community? What about the environmental cost? None of these things, the mitigation cost, the cost of building that retention wall, the cost of setting up a new crushing plant, the cost of the heavy equipment that now has to go inside of there, the cost of setting up a whole new none of these costs were taken into consideration. All they said is that it's going to be cost effective because it's closer, and that was the only thing factored in.
On the telephone, yes?
Good afternoon, Matt. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
And your guest. Good afternoon. I want to congratulate them well on a good. Matt, but you perhaps.
I'm not hearing you. Speak a little louder, please. Yeah.
Can you hear me, Matt?
A little low, but bring down the volume on the radio. I'm getting some feedback.
No, I ain't got no radio. I drive in on Interstate 77, man, heading up north to Pennsylvania.
Okay, but your signal is low.
But what I'm saying, man,
Yes.
this project and the geothermal project, Roosevelt is two main pillars of Roosevelt's Carrot campaign, That is why when people talk the truth, they always link it saying that people don't want an international airport. Anytime you draw it to the attention that they are not following the laws. Dominican have laws. Their procedure, their checks and balances, and that's to protect everybody. And what I'm hearing from these two professionals is like they're poisoning the river. Are they going to do poison Dominican? Destroy the rivers, destroy our environment. For what? When they had the land, there are a lot of places they could get stone. It's politics them guy playing. And Capitol and then this man coming up and lying in your face. Paul, straight up, man. He's talking about this project is no way it's going to benefit Roosevelt's Carrot political. I don't know if you observed that statement when he made that statement, man. And I know that's a lie. They believe if they can start or show Dominica the building airport, they're going to send power forever and ever. But what they're doing is implementing the hyena policy, 10% for Dominica and 90% for them in everything they're doing, man. It's really sad when you have to be listening to news coming from Dominica every day. One story, as you say, man, Dominica was pregnant with issues. It's time for this guy to get out of people and let Dominica rise, man. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, too. Thank you. Amen. That's what happened, yes? Set for us.
in season 2. For the second year running, the second edition of Nature Island Small Business Buzz get bigger this season. It's a brand new season, and we expect to go across the length of Greater Dominica, taking it outside of the capital city, Roseau. Shoemaker, your farmer, your fisherman, whether you have big business, a small business, a medium business, your abilities, your gifts, your talent. How do you survive if you fail? How do you accumulate a multiple group of businesses? Coming this Tuesday to Resumption on the 7th of April, we have a double header. Twins, because it's our second year. So we have 2 for the price of 1. Don't miss it. Empowering the economic engine of growth in Dominica. This program enlightens, empowers from the root to the fruit right here on the big station. Don't you miss Nature Island Small Business Bus every Tuesday from 4 to 5, every Thursday from 4 to 5. This is season 2. Season 2. Don't miss it. Season 2. Big Bang happens right here Tuesday, 2nd April. A global audience awaits.
Doing shopping for farming supplies. So I ask him, what are you doing inside Bloombox? You have a farm? He tell me, that's how it has sort. I've been married 37 years. Come at my money farm. He said, no, not woman, like land for farming crops. And then you understand, Bloombox is the most affordable on island. Knapsacks starting at only $57.71. Elsewhere, it's $300 plus. Cutlass seeds, seeding trays, nursery pots, sales of potting mix, all at way better prices than anywhere else. Fertilizers, 3-in-1 multi-tool, and so much more. Located on Federation Drive, Goodwill. Second property on the right after the Valley Link Road and on the corner of Drury Lane and Hanover Street in Roseau. Bloombox. Let's bloom together.
Fresh market. When money don't count and the money doesn't touch you. Fresh market. Fresh market. We are open 7 days a week with the top of the line products. Well stocked supermarket and pharmacy, health and beauty care, fresh produce and meats prepared daily, hot and cold kitchen, ready to go meals, sandwiches, salads, and desserts at your fingertips. Easy access, located on the bayfront, environment friendly, and our staff are approachable and ready to assist. Have you figured out who we are? You got it. Fresh market. Your one stop. Fresh market.
Cricket Association, in collaboration with the Elias Dupuy Foundation, proudly presents the Elias Dupuy Tape Ball Cricket Festival, all in honor of the late Elias Dupuy. Join us Easter Sunday and Easter Monday at the Ansdume Playing Field in the northeast of the island for 2 days of softball cricket action. Games begin 11 a.m. on Easter Sunday and 9 a.m. on Easter Monday, featuring top teams from the north and northeast of Dominica, including Benz, Faybush, Penville, Calabishi, Marigot, Wesley, Woodfordale, and Portsmouth, all competing for over $3,000 in prizes. Make this Easter one to remember with thrilling cricket, community spirit, and great entertainment. April 5th and 6th at the Ansdume Playing Field. Catch the action live on radio, Facebook, YouTube, and the television. Come out and support the Elias Dupuy Tape Ball Cricket Festival, where the Northeast will come alive with cricket.
Dominica State College is inviting you to upgrade your skills with a brand new slate of short courses. Offerings include modern joinery using PVC boards, farm business management, basic tiling, basic electricals, leadership and emotional intelligence, and cultural adaptations in the workplace for employees and employers. Interested persons are encouraged to visit DSC's Facebook page or WhatsApp channel to access the registration link. Classes expected to begin the week of April 20th. Call 255-8109 for more information.
All right, Dominica, we're back. We're here with Janelle and Gary. On the telephone, oh, sorry, I missed that. I still want to come back to the point that Mr. Capitola just insisted, based on his information, that the rocks at Deboche was just simply the best rock. I keep saying, why do you insist that Deboche is the place to go? He said, all your tests, which tests prove that the rocks they're looking for is in Deboche and nowhere else.
Matt, this is 2026, they can easily just upload this to the internet and show it to us like in the next 5 seconds
Yeah.
if they really had it. So we welcome them uploading that information, and we also welcome an open discussion with them. If he believes the science is so sound, then please come and meet us. And when I say us, I mean the community. We're not meeting behind any closed doors. So please come and meet
Even
us.
the public forum.
Of course, because we believe in transparency. This is not going to be no he said, she said kind of a story. Come and meet us and we
Present
will
the
discuss,
facts.
present the
Yeah.
facts. But we're ready. We're here.
Yeah, and we're still waiting on also the proof of them assembling the crusher. Because
Mhm.
we've asked for that. We haven't seen the proof of them assembling the crusher.
So what do they have right now in the wash? I see a piece of equipment there. What is that? What is that?
We believe they are assembling the crusher. And from what we've heard from planning themselves is that they have permission to assemble it,
Mhm.
in spite of them having a stop order. So I don't know how that's possible. So we're asking for the proof to see how did they get permission to actually install this crusher.
There's also a point as it relates to, and I hear the Chinese ambassador saying there's no move to mine anything there. Or how are you going to respond to that? I heard the Prime Minister also said that there's no mining taking place.
Again, just show us the proof. Because even in their own ESIAs, Matt, we say mining because it's an umbrella term. Any sort of earth movement where you're extracting some sort of material or mineral is a mining. And in their own ESIA, they labeled quarry as mining. I just want to put that out there. So it is not just us putting this term out in the open as if it means nothing. So when they come and tell us, oh, they're not mining, we're using the wrong terminology, their own ESIA says it's mining. So that's a different story. But if they're so adamant about it, then come out and prove to us that this is what you're really doing. Do it properly, do it respectfully, and then we would start believing you. The Chinese ambassador said in the same breath that apparently we are slandering them by saying that
I heard that word.
yes, that's saying that by saying that they are mining and that they don't have any permits. And he said in the same breath he accused us of slandering them. It's the same breath that he said they have all their permits. But we have
Documents from physical plant individuals saying that they have no approval. So how do they have the permits if physical plant said they have no approval and issued a stop order in December? So
That's
how does that make
official.
sense?
Official government paperwork. We didn't make that up. Official government personnel put that paperwork out there
Mhm.
saying that they have no permission for any quarrying or crushing activity at Daywash. And you want to come and tell us that we're slandering you because you have all your permits. The government says you don't. We're just telling you what the government says.
Have you asked for an apology?
We have. We've asked for apology from the Chinese embassy, and we've also asked for an apology from the media stations that put it out there. We've asked them for equal airtime, actually, so that we can be able to present our facts on their platforms. So far, no response from anyone.
Very, very, very interesting there. As of course, this argument continues here. And somebody says, greetings, Matt, Gath, Janelle. Please get out of Daywash, replant the trees, and donate the equipment to the people of these areas. So the people that say replant. So how do we get? And I heard Mr. I think it was Mr. Capitola, Mr. Prime Minister saying there are no alternative actions that you plan to take for Daywash in terms of replanting the area. If you're presenting that.
If we're presenting
No. If you let's say Daywash has been destroyed,
right,
in your estimations. So how would you go about reforesting that area? Do we still have a chance?
Yeah, we still have a chance to reforest it. I think we could start off by understanding the area itself, understanding what type of environment it was, what type of rainforest, what type of native species live there, and we could start from planting like pioneer species that could help build the soil for the forest itself, because you need that to begin with. But from what we're seeing is that they've removed a lot of the topsoil, so it's going to take a lot of work to get it back to what it was. What would have taken hundreds of years to make. It's not going to be a snap fix like that.
So, but it can be fixed. Is it too late?
No, no. I mean, at the point where they've stopped, they haven't dug down that far. There's still time and there's still opportunity.
How much digging you think they have to do?
I don't know, but the digging was recent enough, and it's still salvageable. You know, it's not 160 acres of digging yet, is what we're seeing, which is what they initially wanted.
Mhm.
Now they've gone down to requesting about 20 acres, even though their maps and where they've already dug don't line up. So I don't know, it's still salvageable. We still do believe that, you know, humans are capable of destroying everything and we're also capable of rebuilding everything. It's whatever we put our mind to. So if we wanted to see this forest come back, Matt, it will come back.
It will come back.
It will come back.
All right. Now, moving forward, what will be your next step? We're trying to be optimistic that, you know, you guys will save the wash. Again, what will be your next step moving forward?
Next step after we've submitted these comments, and we hope that physical planning will listen to us and agree on.
Do you think they won't?
Well,
I think they're under some pressure, though.
I think they have to at this point, because we have already posted our comments publicly. I've said it in the drive. We'll probably make another post to show specifically the whole entire document. We're being transparent about it, and we're hoping in good faith that they take our comments to heart, and really, if they want to continue the international airport and for the projects in Dominica, that they go through proper protocol, because this ESA doesn't seem complete at all. It seems very rushed and put together last minute.
Mm-hmm. Will you sit with the board and have an exchange like you're doing with me right now?
Of course, but again, Matt, it's not just us. We know from our side and on our side of who submitted, there's at least upwards of 50 people who have sent in their comments from what we know.
Yeah.
And it's we are scientists, we are ecologists, conservation biologists, but they're civil engineers who submitted comments. They're past public health officers in Dominica who were in high positions here, previous, you know, planning personnel,
farmers, business owners, people who are just concerned in what's going on, people who took the time to read what's going on. I mean, some of them actually did send us their comments to like look at it and to like, is this the correct thing that they think? Like, is this good enough for a comment for this magnitude? And like, okay, yeah, that's okay. You can add this, because I could say that not everybody has all the time to read through all those documents, and so maybe we are more read than most people because we're laser focused on this right now.
Right.
So we did help them add in a few points they would have missed based on what topic they wanted to address.
Or help with our understanding, because again, we're not civil engineers. So people need to understand, when we put this 41 pages together, it wasn't just Gary and I. We have a whole team behind us, or well, with us. It's just not everyone is out in the public. But we consulted civil engineers, we consulted health officials, we consulted community personnel, farmers, and put this document together. So it's a reflective document, I would say, of Dominica's thoughts, of our professional thoughts across the board. And if they were to just go ahead and disregard this, again, they're setting a precedent that we would not be able to come back from. This is a slippery slope, and right now they have the ability to pull the brakes and to start climbing us out of this hole.
Hello, yes?
Yes, Matt, good afternoon to you and your guest. Matt, I hear you talking about Capitol insisting that the rocks are the best rocks.
That's what he said. He read from some lab or some scientist.
But Matt, what do you expect Capitol to say? He told us, Matt, publicly, that the Prime Minister fooled him 3 times. What do you expect to hear from him?
449-3095-96 and 97. So these are, if you want to call in again and ask any question, feel free to do so. The numbers again, 449-3095-96 and 97, 616-4257. I heard from the Kalinago chief earlier that, you know, the Carib people feel somewhat disrespected, that they were not consulted. And Gary, you can add to that, huh?
Yes, I could add to that. Yes, the we looked for all 3 ESIAs up to the most recent one, which was published in February. And in those ESIAs, in stakeholders in which they consulted, they included the Kalinago Council. And I believe in the June one, they had 4 members of the Kalinago Council listed. And in the February one, they had only 1 member of the Kalinago Council listed. So then we spoke to Chief Annette, and she told us that her council was never consulted. She talked to her councils, none of them were consulted.
I'm not a lie.
And then she also got in contact with the previous chief, which was Chief Lorenzo, and he then stated that his council was never consulted for any of these projects. So them just included that in the document, again, is a lie.
So why these constant lies?
I don't know. I think they're just trying to fill in the gaps that they should have done. And now they're getting caught because now people are saying like, hey, I was never consulted. Why is my stuff in this? And one of the key things that this ESA is also missing is just a lot of people's credentials and stuff like that. Because a lot
So this is just coaching for coaching's sake?
yeah, so like a lot of people brought it up to us as well, because when they're reading this, they're like, okay, who did this? Who did that? I'm like, how are they coming to these conclusions? And then even in the appendix, I have it open right now, they have 5 experts who helped.
What is experts?
Yeah, I'm going to read it word for word. This is Appendix 2, Key Experts. The Pure Blossom Life Essentials engineering firm has assembled a team of trained and experienced experts to fulfill the objectives and outcomes of the ESIA process. The key experts to be engaged on this assignment consulted are listed below. So there are 5. Key Expert 1, Environmental Engineer. Expert 2, Environmental Specialist. Expert 3, GIS Mapping Specialist. Expert 4, Social Specialist. Expert 5, Forestry and Wildlife Specialist, Ecological Survey or / Administrative.
So there are no names attached to this
These
position?
are just titles. There are no names attached to it, no credentials.
Hello, talk to me.
To it, nothing.
Hello, yes, talk to me.
Yeah, good afternoon, man.
Good afternoon to you.
First of
That's
all,
a
I
joke.
want to commend those who are trying to save Dave Wash. And I am very impressed with their knowledge and their credentials. And to not name an expert. What is that? And why are we hearing from the likes of Capitola and Clarence? Why are these the people that we're hearing from? Where is the government? I want to ask you a question, man. Does the government employ environmentalists to guide them? That's the first question. Is that a joke? Shouldn't the government be employing environmentalists to guide them in that process? Thank you, Matt. Good afternoon.
And of course, environmentalists and as you say, forestry officials should be part of the board.
Yeah, I'm sure they could have gotten a specialist in terms of, it says forestry and wildlife specialist, right? What we're seeing in some of their biodiversity surveys that they did, not only is the taxonomy wrong, like they have the wrong scientific name for the species that they have listed. They have outdated names. These have been updated since 10 years ago, and you're listing them as that. But also
just blocking holes.
Yeah.
Let me take a phone call. Are you there? Yes.
Matt, I forgot the words of the Chinese ambassador, how he described the China company. It is not specifically a mining company. So then they're not experts in the field of mining, if I heard what he's saying. So shouldn't there be an expert environmentalist in the field of mining? Or sorry, the environmentalists should have that covered. But the engineering company, they're not specialists in mining, so they're going in there and mining, vitae. They're not experts in that field. Or are they? Someone might want to answer that for me. Good afternoon.
Have you met any environmentalists, Gary?
We've only met Josiah Benoit, who's the environmental engineer. That's the only person we've met on it, and I believe that's the only name we have seen within those documents as a contributor to this document.
Gary, if you're going to say something.
Yeah, well, to emphasize what Gary is saying, Josiah Benoit is the environmental engineer for Montreal Management. When he came to the community to have these supposed meetings, he also represented CR5. I don't know on whose authority, but he is the one who conducted the ESIA. So this is direct conflict
Conflict of
of
interest.
thank you.
Conflict of interest,
Conflict of interest. You cannot be the environmental engineer for the developer and the one to conduct the environmental social impact assessment. That's supposed to be a very unbiased, very professional, scientifically, technically sound document that speaks to what's going on and will tell a developer whether or not they can actually do the site. So it was only his name on the document. He's the one doing the ASIA. He's the one calibrating all the equipment. He's the one reporting and coming to the community. He's the one creating the mitigation strategies. He's the one doing everything. So we have 5 unnamed experts here, but in the document, only Josiah's name exists. So is it that they really had 5 experts, or is it Josiah who is a super expert and who did the role of all of these 5 technical fields?
And as you said, no names mentioned there.
Except his. Josiah is the only one listed in the document.
When was the last time you guys had a one-on-one with Josiah?
The last time.
January.
No, December.
What the site visit he was there.
Oh yes. Yeah. The last site visit. When was it? January 12th.
Mm-hmm. But we were not invited by them to that site visit. They had invited the chief to that site visit, Chief Annette, and she had asked us to come as technical advisors. So that's how we ended up in this meeting, not at an invitation that was extended to us to have this dialogue.
Let's take another phone call. Are you there, caller? Yes.
Hello.
Hello. Yes.
Yeah. I want to ask Jermaine a question.
You mean Janelle, not Janelle. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. Is you familiar with a document dated 6th of March this year, where it is stated that they have permission to install the crusher?
Are you familiar with a document where it stated that you have to install that crusher? That's the question.
So this is a document that Gary had alluded to. The document that Gary had alluded to earlier on, that the chief physical planner, when we went to the meeting, he said that they had some sort of permission to install the crusher, and we asked him to produce this documentation because, again, that's a public documentation. So if that is true, can you please give it to us? And to this day, we're still waiting on the documentation.
Yeah, you have the document with you now.
We don't have the document with us now.
It's in your position. It's in your phone.
It's now in my phone.
Yep.
Okay. When it loads, I will tell you.
All right. So they sent some document to your phone?
Apparently.
All right, for now.
Thank you to the caller for doing the Lord's work, something that the chief physical planner should have given to us. So I'm grateful for whoever's out there.
So what is this caller insinuating at this time? That you got a document in your hand to say what?
It's still loading.
It's still loading. It's still loading.
When it loads, I will tell you.
Because I heard earlier that Mr. Clarence Christian Thomas, I see one of you alluded to him as Thomas. Thomas is the judge. Is Christian. Eh? You said Thomas earlier. Just a correction there. He said Clarence Thomas. Clarence Thomas is a big judge in the United States. So yes, has it loaded that document that he's referring to?
Yes.
Okay. What can you read from that?
It's 4 pages long. You're gonna have to give me time. Continue with Gary still.
Yes, Gary. Mm-hmm. You're making a reference to some of the other points earlier.
Oh, yes. One of the things we wanted to mention is that you're talking about consultation. So the chief of council identified that they were not consulted, but also we noticed that neighboring communities were also not consulted, especially the Atkinson Village Council. They are not part of the Kalinago territory. Those who know the east of the island, they're not part of the Kalinago territory, but they are wedged between Marigot and the Kalinago territory. Their council was never consulted in what's going on as well. There wasn't even a mention of Atkinson in the document. And they have a larger fishing community that use the Pegua Bay, and they use a lot of the Pegua River mouth, and they are people that use the Concord River all the time to come and recreate and stuff like that.
As a matter of fact, I heard that some of the guys involved in tubing, the skin maybe getting some rash in that area.
Yes. When the river was very dirty at the time, they did try to continue their tours because that is their bread and butter. The river is what's really bringing the tourism for them, and people were getting rash in the skins at the time.
Mhm.
Right now, the river appears to be cleaner right now, but now we're seeing in these water quality tests that we're getting back that this water has high levels of mercury, arsenic, as well as E. coli bacteria.
Mhm.
And as Janelle was saying earlier, that even if the water appears to look clean, so that it really isn't.
Mhm.
And this test was done in November, and right now we don't know how it is in March.
I see Gino continuing to read the document, smiling.
It's actually pretty entertaining. So the document is not just, it's not about the permission, it's actually about notice to complete development applications, and it's a series of comments that physical planning had on the document submitted about Daywash. And why I'm smiling is because a lot of it actually aligns with the comments that we had submitted to physical planning. So it's saying,
Mhm.
you know, that the biological description shed no light on the aquatic environment. Soil and water contamination are two impacts that are of great public concern. Therefore, rating these two impacts as low in the impact screening table appears as disregarding the concerns of the public. Mitigation measures for riparian zones should be considered. The ravines on site that drains into Pegua River. Estimated cost of rehabilitation should be provided. Rock test results for Crappawhaw and Daywash to be included in the appendix and reference when necessary, because physical planning themselves are admitting that there were no rock testing results in these ESIAs. And this is signed by Chester Alia, so the chief physical planner. Project area to be highlighted on all maps. They also ask that the maps project area to be delineated on Dominica Forest Reserve map to show distance from Forest Reserve, because none of their maps actually are technically sound when it comes to where our reserve lines are. There's so many comments. Vegetation buffer zone, they're asking why the buffer zone for the riparian area is inconsistent throughout the document. State estimated amount of topsoil that needs to be removed from the site. Sorry, I'm trying to summarize as I'm reading through it, but yeah, but in essence,
So what
they
is it,
do say.
So what is the caller's point there?
Well, in essence, they do say that, you know, please be informed that permission has been granted to install the crushing equipment, and they underline and put this in bold, but the operation of the crusher is strictly prohibited. But my question then to physical planning is, if you recognize that this is an illegal project and you're prohibiting the operation of the crusher or any quarrying activity, why would you go ahead and allow them to set up their equipment for an illegal project if you have no intention of listening to the concerns of the community and following the science? Physical planning has a duty to follow the science. I don't know, but it's 4 pages of comments from physical planning, and as far as we can see, they are exactly what we told physical planning is wrong with this document. I did. I'll send it to you too, man.
Interesting.
It's like, this is our gold.
Give you more ammunition here. There. Hello, talk to me. Yes.
Matt, while it appears comical, it appears very comical. You can see that they're just playing along, citing what the objections are and paving them over, allowing the crusher to be set up, and with the intention of giving permission. They are not going to not give permission. They're just playing around, trying to make it look like they're paying attention to the people who are commenting. Because in the first case, they paid no attention. Now they've changed their mode of operation. But you can see from the direction they're taking, especially this last comment from this, whatever she got on her phone, they ultimately want to go forward with this. And they're just blubbering us. The people must stand firm and stop this nonsense. There are too many loopholes in this. We can see through it. Enough said. Thank you.
Very, very interesting. Yes.
Sorry, as I read it, this is
laughable.
Yeah, and I also need some popcorn. They're apparently allowing them to assemble this crushing equipment, as the last statement is what speaks to that. But they're also asking the developer and the contractors to produce the site plan that indicates dimensions, access rule, fuel storage areas, proposed building stockpiles, etc., and the project description should include details on the crusher, so the equipment, the design, the size, the process, everything. So you're giving them permission to set up crushing equipment that you have absolutely no information about the crushing equipment. I'm so confused because physical planning themselves are saying that.
According to you, and it's a popcorn right now.
I do. Wow.
Anyway, we have to wrap it up in a few minutes. So I'm sure you'll look at the document a little closer, Janelle, and you'll give us more information when you, of course, digested it to the full there. But Gary, any final comments before you go? Because
we're wrapping up already. So thank you, Matt, for having us. I really enjoyed it. Can't wait to be back again. But
feel free anytime.
Over the past 2 weeks, every Saturday we make it our intention to stand for Deboche. So we've been at Deboche.
Well, you finished early because I was on my way last week and it was all over.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
Well, you starting later this week?
We are standing later this week. So this Saturday, 4th of April, we stand for Deboche, full time to charm. We plan to start at 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. later in the afternoon.
Okay.
And everybody is welcome. We can go even further than what we have talked about. I know Janelle is chuckling, but we can dive into more detailed. And the last 2 times were really good because we saw a lot of our strong supporters, but not only strong supporters, but people who just want to know what's going on. Like they're on the fence. They're like, okay, but are you guys really trying to stop the airport? It's like, no, we're not. And so it was a really good chance to talk to people and really get to know them, as well as to answer their questions one-on-one. Because a lot of people have questions, but they're like, they don't want to read through all the information. So they're like, let's go to the source. Janelle and Gary at Deboche and Saturday. Let's go to them. And so far, the gatherings have been good. They've been positive. The weather has held up great for us. So we're welcoming everybody to come this Saturday at Deboche. We're also inviting, everybody's welcome, even our parliamentary representative.
He's not been there?
He hasn't been there. He hasn't been there since January 13th.
When we had the site visit.
That's the last time you saw him there.
That was the only time we actually ever spoke to him on the matter. He didn't really have a choice.
Any final comments from you, Janelle, before you go? I know you've been laughing and eating popcorn, but
well, it's not that I'm laughing because physical planning's comments are laughable. I'm laughing because it's actually a relief to see our technical officers comment the way that they should comment and tell these developers that these things are wrong with your document and they need to be fixed. And so I hope that they look at our comments alongside their comment, use our comments and the data we provided to further strengthen their points and what they told the developer, and understand that this is not the right thing. And I also hope that, Dominicans out there understand that, again, we were in this before we even knew the connection to the airport. This is why they even came out and said that Deboche is about the airport, because we started putting pressure on them and they decided that that was going to be their response. But people also need to understand that it's an international airport. It needs international certification. The material has to pass international tests, because it's not just Dominicans landing there. It's people from around the world that are landing there. You're risking citizens from every country of this world coming to our airport. So it has to be done up to code. And all we're asking them to do is to follow that code, is to do the testing, is to follow the law. It's to protect our people, to protect the people of the world, to do this right. Because at the end of the day, if these documents, if the material is not up to par, if you're not doing things up to par, whether they bulldoze the land and pave it or not, if it doesn't pass the test, we are not going to get what we want. So just please do it right, do it properly the first time, so you don't have to spend a whole bunch of money, of Dominica's money, doing it all over again.
Thank you. This is
is good.
A lot of information there. So thank you, Janelle. Thank you, Gary.
Yeah.
Thank you.
See you on Saturday.
Yes, see you on Saturday.
Thank you again. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Dominica, this is how we get to the end of this afternoon's program.
And the walls were so steep.